Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heart, Mind, and Voice Show. Hello, ladies.
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello. Welcome back, ladies.
Yeah.
Welcome. It has been a minute. It's been about a month. Has it been a month?
Mhm.
A
It's
good
Yeah.
been
month. Hello,
yeah.
HMV fam. I'm sure you guys are probably like, well, I guess they're done for this for this season. I guess they're done. So we'll wait until they come back in the fall. We still got a few shows to go. Don't leave us. Don't leave us. We're so glad to be back. A lot of changes and differences that has come up, but you know what? We're gonna keep going anyway. How are you ladies doing tonight?
I am
Great,
doing
great.
good. It's the weekend. Had a great week.
All right now, all right. It's your girl Coach Shalonda. We have Miss Queen A and your girl Miss Serious
Hello.
K. Looking fabulous as always. We got a good show tonight. I
Yes,
think we
we
got
do.
some
Yeah.
really good topics. Really good
Mhm.
topics. I think we titled it All Things Heart, Mind, and Voice.
There's so much going on. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
It's
Yes.
so much to talk about. It was hard to pick out. Okay, so let's talk about this. Well, this is more important. Well, let's talk. It was.
Mm.
Can you imagine? I mean, it's
Mhm.
so many hot topics, so many. Just it's a lot going on in this world, in this nation. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. Do y'all have anything to share? Anything exciting for once? Just exciting. Can we hear something exciting, funny?
Well, for me, I would say my son just told me I'm gonna be a grandmother. So I am
Oh my
excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, old lady.
When I was telling my family, I'm like, I started tearing, like, oh my God, I'm really getting older. I'm like that type of person that has a hard time getting older. But I am so
Very hard.
excited because I'm like, I am going to definitely spoil my grandchild, and I'm really happy. It was a shock for me, but I'm excited about it, and I can't wait now. So
So
Well,
what's your
congratulations.
grandmama name gonna be?
Yeah. Are you
you
gonna be
know, I'm
K
okay with what.
Mama, Miss K?
Oh Lord.
K?
You know
GK?
what? I'm okay. I'm okay with whatever he or she wants to call me. As long as it's not my name, But
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. So
Oh, that's gonna be so so sweet and special. We definitely have to do something big whenever
yes,
that's huge. That's huge. So we definitely have to do something nice and big. Oh my
we
God, I
probably have
can't
two
wait.
baby showers. My cousin in New
I'm
York.
sure they're gonna have several baby showers.
Oh yeah, because she's from Atlanta, so her family is all in Atlanta. My son's from New York, or besides me, all his family is in New York. So we probably have two baby showers, probably here in Atlanta, and then go to New York. So
Oh,
Yeah.
how sweet. Oh, for her family and then his family.
yeah.
That'll be sweet. The baby, trust me, as many baby showers as they can be blessed with, they will need them.
Yeah.
They
They
will need
all
them.
Uh
gonna need
As
huh.
many
everything.
baby showers, because I'm telling you that stuff. And I think that isn't it a saying like they don't after the first one, that's it? I'm like, no. If I have five, I need all five baby showers.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think after the first one, that's it. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Things are so especially now. So expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. They always need pampers and formula, so
Listen, and inflation is up, y'all. So Pampers, when it used to be like maybe $9, probably like $15.
for
Yeah.
real.
And weren't you talking about Series K, something going on with the formula?
Oh yeah,
Isn't there
there's a
a shortage or
shortage.
something?
Yeah, they
Mhm.
can't. The mothers are having a hard time finding formulas for the babies.
Get them up. Get
Mm.
them up. This the best formula in the world. Get 'em.
I'm
They girl, they
telling you.
doing. They got a lot of different people that's coming up with all types of stuff that they can use to feed their babies, like natural ingredients and of course I saw where somebody was telling this one girl to use pet milk, put a little sugar and milk and water.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
No.
talking
But
about
Series K,
we was
we heard
babies.
that, right?
Yeah, because
I
yeah,
think
they
that's
used
common
to
in Louisiana.
they would give babies pet milk. It's
Yeah,
not
I
pet
think
milk,
that's
pet
common.
milk. It's like the canned
Right.
milk. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, canned
Well,
milk.
Okay, I can't. I know you know
Queen,
shit.
yes, canned milk. It's just milk.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. I'm like,
And they break it down. They break it down with the water, so the baby won't get gas and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's milk
wow.
that you can cook a lot of desserts. And
Yeah,
stuff.
you can cook
It's not
desserts.
actual pet milk.
Pet
Why do
milk.
they
Yeah.
call it pet
I
milk?
don't know.
It's like
It's
carnation, like the carnation
yeah,
milk.
it's like
Yeah.
carnation.
Oh.
And the Eagle brand, that's on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
If you give your baby some Eagle brand, she or he might start dancing.
Okay. Balls and stuff. Yeah.
No way. Well, let's get off
It's
into
sad
the
though.
exactly. It is. But
Mhm.
hopefully, things will make a turnaround. We pray and hope. Let's not
You
get
know,
Yeah.
really quick, this book, Written Judgment by Bishop Ebenard Jordan, he wrote the book in 1996. He talked about how, and I'm starting to see it now, but I wish I had brought the book out so I can quote exactly what it said in the book. But he mentioned about how the world's going to take a turn when it comes to food, and you're going to start seeing like scientists and farmers, different people making different types. It's almost like it would be like astronaut food in a sense, where food is going to be like in a certain type of form, but it's going to be sold maybe in packages. But now they're looking at ways to create new type of foods. So especially because we're seeing inflation, we're seeing things in the supermarket, where meats, you don't see as much meats anymore. But now it just seemed like we're going back to the earth. And that's the way God intended. Like we have to get back into eating things that's from the earth.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's actually a good thing, though it seemed like
Yeah.
eating
Training
naturally,
your
huh?
Sure. I said for us to train our bodies to
Yeah,
get back into that. So
yeah. That's
Mhm.
why I love vegans.
mhm.
People that are vegans and that eat plant-based food.
Mhm.
I will promise you up and down. I always serious care. I always tell Queen A about Spiral. I'm not trying
Mhm.
to get him no free shout out, but honey, they are lying. That food is not vegan.
Yeah. Some people
Plant-based.
just know how to cook it, and after you become like vegan or vegetarian, you miss this certain taste, and so you learn how to make that stuff, cook it to make
Yeah.
it taste like that taste that you desire, that taste that you miss. Because when I was vegetarian, like that's what I started doing. I started like digging for recipes, and I was making that stuff. My husband was like, "Wow, is this really certain stuff? It can't be. This ain't this. You sure this not pulled pork?" Like I would do the jackfruit and stuff like that, and the mushrooms and those. I use those
Yes.
things as meat replacements. He like, I can't believe this. So
Hmm.
I
That
love
food is on another
mushrooms.
level. Yeah,
mm,
it's on
yeah,
another level. Have you had the cupcakes and cake and stuff, the desserts?
yeah, yeah.
On another
And
level. I look forward to getting the lemon
hmm
berry cupcake.
oh yeah, they got good desserts too.
They
Hmm.
do. So
Yeah,
I was like, "Well, you come here,
Those
girl." Yeah,
ingredients are
try
so expensive.
what the vegan
yeah.
food? Oh,
Yeah, the ingredients is
super
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think when we go there, you spend two people. That's close to $100, if not.
Well,
If
yeah,
they,
the restaurants are but when you think about it, like if you're like a raw vegan, it's cheap because vegetables are cheap.
Hmm.
well, yeah,
You know
that's
what
true.
I mean? Sometimes it's
Right.
the seasonings and stuff like that that's kind of
Hmm.
expensive. It
My
is.
friend is trying to convince me to go vegan, and I'm like, it takes time to transition. I
Yeah, you
don't
have to
know.
wean yourself. You just can't go cold
Yeah,
turkey.
Yeah,
yeah, mhm,
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's some good small talk. Let's get into some hot talk. We got some hot talk tonight. It was so many hot topics. I believe we could have went all kind of ways tonight, but we try to think about our shows all about the heart, mind, and voice, and healing minds and hearts through the power of transparency, renewing the mind, and some of that stuff that's going on ain't renewing nobody's mind.
Hmm.
Ain't touching nobody's heart.
Yeah.
But then there are some things that are near and dear to our heart. And we want to start off talking about, let's talk about marriage, the institution of marriage, changing up the institution, the laws of marriage, the order of marriage, the
Mhm.
audacity. I don't know if y'all ever read former President Obama book. What is it? The audacity. Just the audacity The audacity of people that feel the need to change. Now, I understand that people have their reasons, but people have to understand. My thing is, when you want to begin to change the order of marriage, you first of all, you need to understand where marriage comes from and understand the origin of marriage. Man has nothing to do with the actual origin of marriage. And I feel like if you get in there and you try to change it up and say, well, I know that it's an institution ordained by God. I know it was instituted by God. I know it's a covenant between man and woman under God. But, it doesn't have to be this way. That's the old days. Well, man did not create marriage. So they have a thing such as a legal, a marriage of man, common law.
Mhm.
So I think that, and the conviction of it all, I think that we that stand firm as children of God, we try not to be judgmental. But in this day and time, if you come if you come with the truth, you're judgmental. Point
Right.
blank period. If you come with the truth, you and not even facts, the truth, you're
Right.
judgmental. Who are you to judge? Nowadays, because of all the things that are changing, just the simple dynamics of a relationship.
Mhm.
That's even, people are even trying to change that. So there were two actually. There were this former NFL player, Ricky Williams, wanted to take on his wife's last name. And I remember one of his reasons he said was because he really didn't know his father. Really wasn't a lot of history there. And I even think he mentioned something about it would be better as far as like in business with whatever they're doing in business. I think they're all into this. What is that stuff? CBD, CBD stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
with it being named her last name, it would be more marketable. And then we have the Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. He mentioned about he does not lead his household. And I remember listening to him in the interview, and he was saying, when he got into the relationship and marriage, she was her own woman. And so he wanted to know what could he do? How could he contribute to her evolution?
Mhm.
So you
Yeah.
felt like you said, no, I don't need to lead, or she can lead. So my one thing I would like to say is I question the women, because to me that takes away um just the structure and the man, the makeup of man itself. Man is the head. That's who God created first.
Right.
And then he saw that it wasn't good for you to be alone. So what gender did he create? So that was the first union,
Mhm.
to be instituted by God, not man. Adam wasn't even there. He was like, who is that? What is this? And when he really got to looking, okay, no. But ladies, tell me what you think about these changes. Oh, go ahead.
Well, well, um, I wish that Dwayne Wade would have elaborated a little bit more on what he meant, because I read it and it's just I didn't get a lot out of it, because I'm like, okay, does he mean that she leads the marriage, or is she the head of the household? Because that's, to me, that's kind of, I viewed it as two different things,
Mm,
because we know that in the household the woman is really the boss. We run the household. We
Mhm.
make everything run. You know what I mean?
mm,
Because I see it as if we weren't there, things would fall apart. We
mm,
make sure the house is clean. We make sure it's food in the house. We make sure the bills are paid on time. You
Mhm.
know, we just make sure that everything flows.
Right.
You know, but when it comes to things, the things, the elements of the marriage, as far as leading the marriage, of course, the husband, he's the leader in the marriage. So, we follow where they go. We follow. They lead. So we try to support them in their dreams, in their efforts. We follow. We support. They lead. they guide, we follow. So I wanted him to elaborate a little bit more because I do believe that most women are the head of the household, uh,
Mhm.
but they are the
So
leaders that
yours
get
is
the
semantics.
marriage. Yeah, domestically, yeah,
Seriously, yeah.
yeah,
Yours is
yeah.
semantics.
And
Yeah.
also, even some of the decisions, y'all know, we have to make some of the hard decisions.
Yeah,
You know, some of the hard decisions we do, they, or you'll go ahead and you'll let them make the decision, and in the back of your mind, it's not gonna work, but you don't say. They just sit back and go, okay, let's just wait and see
Mm-hmm.
what happens, and then come back to you and say, okay, baby, now let's try it your way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, we are the boss.
right.
It's okay to make them feel like that
Queen
they're
A, what are your
boss.
thoughts?
But we're the boss, but we let them lead. We do. We know. I
Right.
say godly women. We do. We let them
Yeah.
lead and we follow. We know. We know when to step back.
I think we
We're
leave
beside.
behind the
And,
scenes.
and also, and it's not like the old days. Like we're walking beside our husbands. We're supporting.
Mhm.
We're a support system. We're a whole team. So
Right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, so I so that comment with Gabrielle Union and her husband. So I definitely believe God instituted marriage a certain way. And as Kim said, yeah, the woman to me is usually the ones that lead, like, but the woman usually lead in the background. And men are greatly influenced by their wives. So ultimately, they may make the decision and so forth, but the decision made is because they have the influence from their wives.
Hmm.
If they not, eventually, eventually they'll begin to, listen to the wife. And so wives definitely. So I understand his comment. I just think the way he said it was
Did
kind
it?
of like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of weird. But in regards to this, Ricky, child, listen,
Oh.
what is going on with like relationships dynamics lately is like, I'm not, I am a Christian, I follow the Bible, but some, so many other religions out there, and they have a way that marriage is instituted, and I'm pretty sure no one takes on the last name of a woman. And
Right.
so because you take the last name, you change the dynamics of the whole concept of relationship,
Hmm.
where the man is the head. And
Hmm.
so when a man is the head, you take on his last name because he's the head. And now, but I'm very interested. I'm very curious to know, where did he come with the concept of taking on her last name? I know when I was reading the story, he said it brings balance. Now, I'm into astrology and numerology. And when you add up numbers, it just doesn't make sense to me, because his name, isn't his name Eric? Isn't it Eric?
I don't know. All I
I
know is
know it's Ricky. I don't know if that's. I didn't even.
I don't know if like they call him that, but I thought
Yeah, they
his
call him. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but
Producer, if you can find out what's his complete full name, please do so for us. But
yeah, because
we
I was
definitely know
wondering,
him as Ricky Williams. Yeah,
and
but
when just reading the
yeah.
story, he mentioned about wanting to have balance with his wife, which is why he took on a last name. But then it's like, well, wouldn't she want to have balance with you and taking on the last name of Williams? And then when you think about it, his kids, all their last name is Williams. So it was like, why would you, it's like that's your legacy. Now you change the dynamics
Hmm.
of the whole destiny, the whole legacy with your children, because now your last name is different. So I'm like, what was he thinking in this process? And I'm not trying to claim divorce on them, but just something to think about. What happens if they were to go separate, or divorce or whatever? Is he going to change his last name back, or what's going to happen? And so, but when I did the numbers, I think Ricky Williams came to a 9, which is very, very interesting. And 9 is not necessarily a number when it deals with the CBD industry. So I want to know, where did he get the concept? He had to been talking to someone who's a neurologist. I don't know. But and 9 deals with humanitarian, serving the world. Yeah, so our producer said his name is now Eric. Oh, he changed his whole damn name. His
Eric
name is Eric.
Lord.
His name
Moran.
is yeah, now his name is Eric Myron. So
Well,
he changes,
do
huh?
y'all know if her family come from like a lot of money? Did he change his last name for status,
No,
quo, or something?
he
What?
said, he wanted the more balance. He made that statement. He made the statement where he always has gotten the recognition now, The balance. He wanted to kind
Oh,
of be balanced, which is I don't
there's some insecurity there with the wife.
today, like, but he even talked about business wise as far as it being more marketable. He didn't have a relationship with his father, and he doesn't really know that history. So, he gave quite a few um just did make sense to us, but it made sense to him
I'm
to do
curious to
that.
know, how does this work with the law? Like if they were to get like a divorce,
I know, huh? He
how
probably
would
have to buy
that?
his name back or get his name back. Probably have to file for his name back. I'm sure. He said it was very easy. So I'm sure it's
So,
easy to get rid of.
so Eric is his birth name, and he went by
Ricky.
Ricky. So
Mhm.
it's very interesting, right? Because when I added up like Eric, whatever Myron, whatever the name is, so it adds to a number seven when you break it down, and number seven deals with spirituality. So I'm like, but seven deals also with research. It could deal with science. So I kind of understand why because CBD to me is like the whole science medical. So I can kind of understand the concept, but it's like just thinking it takes on a whole different dynamic. And I'm looking at his name, and he have like the extra eyes in his name, which means like taking on so much responsibility, and typically the responsibility of the world. So I'm like, I want to know who did he talk to make him change his name. So I'm just very curious about that. And people got to be careful for when you think about it, like what's in the name, because your
Mhm.
name determines a whole lot. It's your expression, it's your destiny, it's like the way people view you. It just says so much. It just says a lot, and I'm just very curious how that whole conversation even came up.
Yeah, that is. I want to mention, I want to go back to the Wade and Union. Um, what y'all mentioned earlier, the semantics of it all, like exactly what he meant. Now, I saw the interview where he actually said the words about he doesn't lead in his household and all that. Where he actually said those words. And he
Mhm.
was like, so that she could be, he didn't want to change. She was already her own person. So
Right.
he didn't want to change anything. And, but because of the lack of knowledge that he possesses when it comes to marriage, it's clear and it was very obvious, to even make that statement and not really know how to explain himself. Um, I want the HMV fam to understand that because, I am a minister. I have to lead people the right way, and I can't say, semantics is one thing, but man is the head of the household. Now he could have meant it that she handled the bills. That's the roles. That's different. That's women. A wife has her role in a marriage, and man has his role in a
Mhm.
marriage. So those are different roles that we have in a union. But biblically, it backs it up. It backs it up. Wives, submit to your own husband. This is in Ephesians for those that are Bible thumpers. Wives, submit to your own husband as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and himself its Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit in everything to their husbands. And then in First Corinthians 11:3, and I'm reading in the English version because a lot of us don't understand the King James. But I want you to understand that the head of every man is Christ. The head of a wife is her husband. And the head of Christ is God. So understand that man is the head. He is the head. Now, women, their roles in the household is to take care of the home. We know that because man is supposed to be out there sweating. We know that too. But of course, everybody, sweat a little bit, especially at times due to the expense and how we want to live and all of that. But definitely when it comes down to the actual order of marriage, man is the household. So I just want to make sure that HMB fam is clear on that. There ain't no escaping around that. Now, we all have our roles. We do take care of things. We all supposed to take care of certain things because women are orderly most of the time. We can remember stuff. We can remember to pay the light bill. We can Men most of the time they're so busy, so focused on making sure their family is taken care of, provided for. Those
Mhm.
are little bitty things that that is not on their mind. So just so we're clear on that. So Let's move on to our next conversation.
Wait, Coach Shalon, before you move on, I'm gonna really, my producer put something in the chat. I'm going to read really quick. She said a quote from Williams, from Ricky Williams. He said, "A desire to," his quote, what he stated was, "A desire to create more balance in his marriage was one of his main motivations for changing his name." Williams said that he learned more about his relationship with his wife after taking a relationship astrology class. I found that that's been really powerful in creating ease, intimacy, and trust in my relationships," Williams said. So that's very interesting. So he did take an astrology class. So that says a lot. I just wish all couples the best. So
I know. It's very interesting there. So we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about some of the latest events that's been going on. The latest events that have been going on in the nation alone. Forget about the world, but just the nation alone. All of this gun violence. It seemed like every other day, if not every day, we are hearing that there's been a shooting in this location, that location, here, there, over there. And oh my God. And to have heard about the huge school fighting just right here in our home state was devastating. And I can even feel it in the atmosphere because it was right before Memorial Day weekend, which was last weekend. And it just did not, it seemed like the weekend itself was a little off, was a little different. I could actually feel the grief, the mourning in individuals. And I'm not even in y'all, I'm in Dallas, not even in, that small town. But to know of what happened, just to have that knowledge, and then your heart goes out, especially if you're a parent, things you can't, sometimes people can make the statement, I can only imagine. I can't imagine. Mm-mm. I can't imagine. When my child, walked out, I dropped my child off from school that day. That was the last time I would ever say I love you or whatever the case may have been that morning. Horrific. And so we just posed the question tonight. Should everyone, because the shooter, I think this was the second shooter, because the shooter that happened in the Buffalo, New York, was 18 years old. And then the shooter in Uvalde, 18 years old.
the one in
And you have
Tennessee as well was young. The
who
shooting that happened in Tennessee, and then I think recently was
was young
Iowa.
too.
Yeah, the one in Iowa. There was a shooting in
What about
Iowa.
Oklahoma?
I have to check, but they were all pretty much young. Yeah.
Now, I did hear someone talking about the youth around that age. Something was going on with them. It was, planets and stuff. Queen A, that's your world. But I did hear some conversation that something was going on. But isn't that interesting? Wow. We have to lift our youth up. So you guys tell me what you think about that. Series K, what are your thoughts on the
I think there should be tougher gun laws, especially in the conservative states. Because Texas, there really are no gun laws. They should take in consideration a person's mental health background, their age, of course, the criminal background. All that. I don't think anyone under the age of 21 should own a gun. It's And they say people don't kill. What is the saying? Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yeah, right.
But it's the gun in the hands of the wrong person.
Yeah,
it's what kills people.
Yeah.
I definitely this country needs stricter, tough. I just saw a video on Instagram. This 12-year-old went into a convenience store and robbed it and shot the gun in the air. Now, he has no experience with guns. He don't understand that what goes up must come down. The bullet could have ricocheted and hit somebody. He didn't even have on a mask. So not only are you going to jail for theft, for robbery, you'll also wind up in jail for killing somebody or shooting somebody. He's not thinking about any of that. And look like, and she didn't even, I don't think she even had that much money. Is it even worth it? So, yeah, we should have stricter gun laws because guns in the hands of the wrong people. Because I believe I'm a gun owner, so I believe in protecting your home, protecting your property, protecting your life. So I'm not against owning a gun at all, but there should be stricter gun laws.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Queenie, what are your thoughts on gun?
Um, I was listening to the news the other day, and they were talking about in Atlanta they had a meeting with the community legislator and all of that, and they were discussing how they now cannot confiscate a gun for someone who's in the airport. So because based on the new gun laws, they cannot take away the gun, which I think is crazy. But I think they have to check it, check the gun in. But you could. It's just so many things that can happen because they can check the gun in, and if the person is working with the steward or stewardess or whatever, and they can go down. It's just so many things that can happen in that. And I just think that people really need to be mindful of what's going on, and especially when it comes to the law, really take into consideration everything that's taking place. But I remember a dream I had. I don't know. I told you about a coach line. I think it was last year. Last year, maybe 2 years ago. Maybe I think it was last year. And in the dream, I remember it was a young person. It looked like they were midgets. It's like I was trying to save them, and
Yeah.
it's like it was so much, yeah, and it's like it was a lot of bloodshed in the streets, and I was trying to save like the midgets, and then like they would kill. They had all these guns, and they were killing off the midgets, but then all of a sudden the midgets were saying, "Save the children instead." So it was like I was in the street, and it was like so much blood in the street, and it was so many children, and I kept yelling like, "Get your children! Like take your children inside!" And I was trying to gather all the children. And people were looking at me like I was crazy. And I felt like I was the only one out there besides the midgets that was trying to save the children. But it was like shooting everywhere in the dream. Like it was just so much bloodshed, but the bloodshed was with the children. So now I see, what God was trying to say. And it's like sometimes we have dreams like that. Just really pray. And it's like, I don't know what's going on. Remember that movie, The Purge? It's like we are literally being purged. Like it's like first you think about it, we had the pandemic, right? After the pandemic, they had some other type of disease going, like some virus, and they had this the monkeypox, right? Then now it's like so many things, and now now you see all these different shootings that's taking place, and these shootings are like back to back to back, and they're with the youth. So it's something that God is saying and doing in the youth that we really need to be mindful of. Now I know I shouldn't get into law, but what the hell is going on, Biden? But I just had to say that because I'm like, I don't understand. But you know what? We just gotta trust God and stay in prayer because only the strong surviving, y'all.
It's really, really sad. And we do, those that are in law and in, I hate to say the word, the P word, politics. Oh, that's sad. They need to fight for strict gun laws. It's very interesting to me that you would have a law in place that you cannot drink legally buy alcohol because they drink. You know how we did it. You cannot legally buy alcohol until you're 21, but you can go out and buy a gun. Alcohol. You can go out and buy a gun and kill people. I got you mess up yourself. I mean, if you're behind the wheels, of course, that's not good. But it's okay for you to buy a gun, and then to be able to. Someone posed a question. You not think anything when people are asking for certain gun gear, shooting gear, a protective. Yeah. What you about to do? I mean, there are certain things that okay, so why you need this? And then my thing is, why are they selling that like to the public? That should be strictly, how we can go out to the beauty salon and buy things, but salon owners and stylists, they can get, more products at a very good price and better products. Come on, Serious K. Am I lying?
It's the black market. It's the black market, girl. These people can't get a hold to it because, like, a lot of the professional products that are only supposed to be sold through distributors, all they do is find a friend that has a license and get it and put it in a beauty supply store. You be like, how y'all get? You
Yes.
know, but it's like the stylists, they sell out. They sell out for an extra buck, you know.
For
We'll
extra
pay
dollars.
you to buy
So
these products for us. You
Mhm.
know, same thing with the gear and stuff. You can
Yeah.
get that stuff on the black market. I mean, even on Amazon.
Yeah, that's
So
see.
it's
And they
like,
need to cut that
dang,
out. I mean,
yeah, they
make it
do.
extremely difficult. But
They
like
do.
you said, the black market is not difficult at all. What a money. For the
Yeah,
love of money.
Especially those
yeah,
type of businesses, that's all they look for. They like, they have, you think about pawn shops, right? They have the pawn shops that you just go and buy guns or whatever. So, and some of them, they question, some don't, but they just interested
yeah.
in making money, especially nowadays.
That's all. It's
So,
about
but
the
then it
dollar.
makes you go back with us having this conversation. It even makes me think about, well, what kind of gun laws can they really put in place? They can put them in place.
They
I
could
mean,
probably make it stricter. Like I would probably say increase the amount, maybe increase the
Yeah.
price. Because right, it is hard to really like
but
what
then
laws.
what Serious K said, the black market is out there. So though you can tell I know nothing about guns. Give me a gun, a caliber,
Like a
what,
9 millimeter,
I know nothing about guns.
like a nine
A
millimeter.
nine. It may be 2,000 in the store, right? I mean, I don't even know. But black market over here is selling it for 500.
I mean, but you know what? The black market is always going to exist. There's nothing
Yeah,
like you can do about it, but you can kind of do something where you make it a bit harder.
yeah. The laws will make it to where maybe you'll have less people being able to get guns. So because of the laws, stricter laws, you'll
You know,
have less people being able to purchase guns.
yeah, exactly.
You
Right.
know.
They had I can't remember the name of the movie, but they had a movie where they were going into people's homes searching. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that, like because you just see the privacy is changing, the privacy dynamics of people personal lives is changing. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if they start having like the military and stuff like that come and search people
Now
homes,
that's
like
now that's doing
And
something.
it's like
I don't
that's
really
like
put the
martial law.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's doing something. Now that is doing something, putting that into effect, and just really, I would say, make an example like you're doing with just a little simple. And I mean, it's not simple to the people. The defamation cases that we've seen with Cardi B and Tasha K, how Cardi B won the 4 million defamation suit against Tasha K. I don't know if you guys know Tasha K, but you definitely know Cardi B. Johnny Depp, I know we all know him. He won against his ex-wife. Examples, I look at those cases, they won those cases, and it's like the judge is making an example of, because those cases are hard to fight, hard to prove, very hard to prove, defamation cases. And so where they weren't so popular, didn't win so many back in the day, now they are. So there's changes that's being made, and just something as simple as that to us, but not to the ones that were actually involved. Someone defaming you, that's hurtful, extremely hurtful. And so, it's like, start making an example, cut the laws back, put into effect the martial law, and what the example that you made, Queen A, and then begin to make an example out of someone. And then it may not clear it all, because it never does 100%, but 70 is better than none.
right.
50 is better than none. 40
Mm-hmm.
is better than what we're experiencing now. So I think that definitely begin to cut the laws back,
You know,
put in some strict laws, and then someone break them, because someone's gonna break. That's just the nature of people, and make an example out of it. Go ahead,
let,
Queen.
let me tell you why the laws didn't change yet. I hope you two don't cut us off for this. So because this is it.
And
So they
your
have a
opinion.
discussion. They have a discussion with Biden, right? And they're
And
like,
your
oh,
opinion.
huh?
And your opinion.
No. Okay, allegedly, in my opinion, this is my opinion. It's not true. It's just my
Right.
opinion, allegedly, right?
Right.
So when they discuss in politics, right, and they talk about the law, they like Biden. So what's your opinion? What should we do about the whole gun law and the reform with the gun law? This is Biden. if you were to get vaccinated, it would probably be better.
You know what?
No, oh
I'm gonna move
Lord.
on serious K because I'm not
Oh,
gonna get in
God.
trouble.
Oh,
Wait, no, wait. So, what do you think? Uh,
oh Lord.
Serious K, we're gonna move on to the next topic. We're gonna leave Queen A out there. You know what? She wants to play around. You wrong for that. You- Wait, do it again. No, I'm just-
he's like, I said what I said. Buddy, you didn't say nothing. You only said something about vaccination. Are you listening to what I'm? You listen to what I'm saying?
you know, Serious K. So moving on, girl, we're gonna move on to a light subject. And we're gonna talk about wow, this is like from left all the way to the right. We're gonna talk about dating expectations. Now, somebody on this screen, we know for sure, can really talk about dating expectations. So, ladies, um, when dating, well, Serious K, in your case, mine too. When we were dating, did we have high expectations? And Queen A, did you have high expectations? So since Queen A is definitely, in that mode, we're definitely gonna give her the floor. Queen A, don't start no joking. Answer the question. Should there
I
be high expectations when
I did. I
Queen
had, I have very high expectation, and I think sometimes that's why I didn't really. I'm not gonna say I didn't enjoy dating, because I like meeting new people and getting to know people, but my expectations was high, so it didn't really go to the next level. I think you should have standards, not necessarily expectations. But you think about like if you go out, like your expectation, like you expect him to pay for the meal, right? Like
Right.
things like that. Like you expect, like you can have expectations in terms of that. But I think also sometimes setting the expectation as well. But I've learned, I'm not gonna say I definitely didn't lower my standards at all. My expectation, I lowered a bit. And only because I had to, because who I'm dating is of another culture. So I've learned to open my mind in so many different ways. But I wanted to read this really quick. It was a quote, and somebody said, "This is the expectation. Destiny will bring in my life the right person for me. He or she is all I ever need to make my life happy. But the reality is, I met this. This is me, y'all. The reality is not. It's good. No, this is good. It's good. I met this person through coincidence, and I don't know if he or she is the right one. All I care about is making him or her happy with all my best." So yeah, but it's funny because when I went out on some dates and my expectation where, maybe he didn't like hold the door, or, and I flip out, or, something, so I have learned so much to communicate what my expectations might be. So I'm not disappointed, in that. So that's all.
Very interesting. Serious K, when you were out there in the dating world.
Yeah, definitely had, high expectations. Like I expected to be treated, a certain type of way. I guess if you want to say a queen, if you will. Um, because at a certain age you expect a man to know that he should open a door for you, or you taking me out on a date, so you pay for the date, you pick me up, or I mean, well, nowadays, you got to meet, because you don't know, people are, they kind of crazy, hate to use that word, but yeah, so I had high expectations, like, okay, you act a certain way, you you treat me a certain way, and but when they don't meet those standards or expectations, then that's when you weed them off. That's when okay, well, I'm not feeling this person. He didn't even, he just walked through the door and I'm walking behind him, the door slamming in my face. I gotta open the door. Oh, girl, you all right? Oh, I forgot you was like that. That type of stuff, or talking crazy. Hey, yo, in the restaurant, come here, sir. Calling him, this thing, and you like, oh no, this ain't gonna happen again, because you expect them to be mannerable, respectful,
Yeah.
mature, chivalry. You expect all that type of stuff, and it can be a turnoff, especially if they don't meet your expectations, because you know what you look for. Now, some women, they like that kind of stuff, so
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on what you like. So if that's what you like and that's what you're attracted to, then you're okay with it. But that's not what I was looking for. So, but thank God my husband had sense enough to treat me like a lady, take me out on dates, and treat me to dates, and not expect something else, something more, because he bought me a steak and a lobster.
Said that Series K, you reminded me of I went out on, it was I don't know, it was early this year or last year. I went out on a date with somebody. I met him online. And first of all, it took months before we really went out. And when we went out, first of all, I drove an hour away. He only drove about maybe 20, 30 minutes away. But I told him I'd drive because I know he had to be up for 6 o'clock in the morning. So we went to eat, and honestly, the bill was only like $28, right? He paid for the bill, but then he asked me to go home with him. And I
That's the one that fell.
huh?
That's the one that fell.
No. No. Story.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. So, and he expected me to go home with him. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, and it was just, I was so turned off by that. Like, first of all, I drove an hour away, and, and it's just, I was just completely turned off. And that was it. Like, for me, I was done. Like, I wasn't even going to try to attempt to make it work or go out on another date. I was completely turned off. I was done. Whereas, say, like the person I'm dating now, like, whereas, like, okay, we went out the other day, and we went to the Georgia Aquarium, and I said I wanted, we both never been there, so I purchased tickets, and my expectation wasn't for him to give me back anything, but he reimbursed me for it. Plus, he gave me gas. He did all of this, and I didn't expect that at all. So it's just, it's interesting when you meet different people and how they are, and people concepts of, when it comes to respect, when it comes to, the role each person play and everything. So that was just very interesting.
That was. But you both
Nothing but the guy who fell. Godly, that was funny.
You both made some very good valid points. Series K, when you said, I think we're at an age now, because I believe that this particular topic is a different conversation depending on the age group, the age range, different generations. The expectations are different, as well as their standards are different. From a 20 to 40-year-old, even from a 30 to 40-year-old, is totally different. And though 5 years may not seem a lot, but it is huge. It's huge. It's a difference. 35, 40, that's a difference. 40, you walk into a whole newness, whole different newness than when you were simply just 39, 38, 37. You see life, you begin to see life totally different. So I think it's definitely a different conversation when it comes to age, dating expectations. And
I think I know what men think, like their expectation.
Be very interesting. Let us know, man.
You know what?
Even if you watch us at a later date, put it in the comments anyway. Go ahead, seriously.
You know what I thought about? Sometimes, like with age, especially like with women. I mean, I'm sure men have experiences too, like been in bad relationships, and when they meet a woman, or a woman meets, however it goes, when you meet someone, you really have no expectations, because all of your experiences were bad. And so when somebody comes along and they treat you with this chivalry and kindness, and you looking at them like,
wow,
because you have no expectations, because you haven't experienced that. You haven't had a man to open a door for you, or tote your bags, or buy your gas, or take you out on a date. Y'all been what we used to call it, going Dutch. Y'all been going Dutch all this time. Yeah. So then when a man pays for your meal, you like, you don't have to do that. I can open my own door. What you think I'm handicapped or something? So some people have no expectations, because they just don't know. They have experienced anything good out of
Yeah.
a relationship.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why I say you both y'all made some valid points. Queen A
Yeah.
brought that out. Well, I think expectations is a little different. I have standards.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right, because
And
you really I'm just saying how you go through life at our age now. We go through life and we've had those expectations in the past and have been let down so many times. So now we're more mature, more wise, and it's more like you're gonna go with the flow and you know what your standards are. If they do not meet your standards, you just move on. That's just
Mhm.
simply put. And it's like, okay, next. He wasn't like this or he wasn't like that. Not that you was expecting him to be that way, but
Mhm.
it's I think dating is like a testing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're going through
It
tests,
is.
different
Yeah.
tests, you
But
know,
you
to
know
pass
what's
the ultimate
interesting?
test.
The guy that I went out with, we expected me to go home. Like we had the conversation over dinner, and he mentioned, like, you know, he have his expectations, but he mentioned about women that have high expectation, like online dating, like they expect to go out to expensive restaurants. So his you know plight was, well, you know, I'm not going to pay. I'm not, you know, we getting to know each other. I'm not going to pay for some expensive meal, and you know, so forth. And I'm like, that's fine, but you know, but it's like the same time as, you know, he feels like women have high expectation in terms of they expect, you know, okay, you're going to take me to this
Mhm.
grand, you know, restaurant. And he's like, well, they're not putting out anything. And yet I'm putting out all my money. And he was like, and then I have to take out different women. So, and I understood that part, but I said to him, I mentioned to him, I said, well, don't expect a woman to, you know, like open up or put out or whatever because
Right.
you know, taking her to dinner. But you know, just listen to men and their point and their expectation as well. You know, some men don't mind, you know, treating a woman good and you know, and don't have any expectation. Like I just want to do this and just enjoy. And this just, you know, some people are like that. But thinking about my some of my family members who are young, you know, I would say, you know, 30s, early 30s, whatever. And I listen to their dates and their expectation is totally different, where they may go out to dinner or they just may have, you know, a few drinks and then they going home and they sleeping with the person. So, you know, everybody expectation.
It's like they feel like they owe somebody. So my thing is, I used to always
Yeah,
say, I can buy my own food now. So
right.
I gotta give you something in order for you to buy me something. Oh no, no, I can
Mhm.
buy my own food. I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
eat.
Right. But you know, it's like this whole,
So,
especially some women, it's like this whole independent thing. Like, you know,
uh-huh.
especially like the millennials or whatever, like, well, you know, I'm my own woman. I can do me. You don't have to buy me all these different things. I can buy my own self, but yet, you know, you sleeping with the person or whatever. So, you know, I mean, everybody to each his own, but I just think that not just women, but men as well need to raise the standards.
Yeah,
Hmm.
very true, very true. So let's squeeze in this last topic, ladies, because woo, y'all can go. But anyway,
Wait, I know you ain't
I
talking.
know,
We spent the whole 30 minutes at the beginning of the show talking.
y'all
right?
can go. We're gonna talk about this. This is another very good, juicy topic. Um, should we're gonna talk about couples, married couples. Should there be? I would think that it would be married couples, ladies. Wouldn't y'all? Should couples have separate or joint bank accounts? It should, this should include married couples, right? I mean, if you're
Yeah.
dating, y'all feel, hey. But do y'all think that couples should have separate or joint bank accounts for both?
But what was that story? I think it was Kim. You had brought it up. What was the
Oh, it
story
was
that happened?
this lady. She had an account what she called her stash account, and her husband didn't know anything about it. I think something came up or something. They needed money for something, and she had the money, and he was
Oh
like, because
yeah,
she had this extra job or something, and he said that he didn't have a problem with her having a separate account. It's the fact that he didn't know about it.
you
She
didn't
didn't
know
tell him
about
about it. So yeah, that's what that
it.
was.
But you know,
So,
he made a comment. He made a comment, and I was reading that story. He made a comment about is like having what he said is like having a
Having
side.
a side chick and your wife not knowing
and your
about
wife not know, which is way off.
it. That's no.
Which is way off. Like,
You know, men don't like to be thrown off. They do
Yeah.
not like. Don't catch them by surprise because then it's
Right.
like the trust factor is no longer there. But
Right.
I definitely know for men, don't catch it, don't throw them off.
I personally think that couples definitely should have a joint account for business and household bills. But I think it's absolutely nothing wrong with each individual having their own little stash because they have personal needs and they may
Right.
want to do things.
Yeah.
There are couples that do things with their friends. They have those little friend vacations or whatever. You know, a lot of couples are into that where they go, you know, they have men vacation, girlfriend, girls trip. They have men's trip too. And then there are things that men would like to save up for. You know, we've seen it all the time. They may want to save up for a man cave or for this lucky sports car or boat or whatever the case may be. Then you have the women that, you know, they may want to buy these, you know, whatever with the women because if I be honest, H&B fam, most wives expect the husband to buy all the expensive gifts. My last serious gift. And we save our money for our own thing. But for, you know, little things that we may like or for a rainy day. You have a lot of, you know, smart wives that are, you know, they save up for rainy day because rainy days come. And you never know.
What about so what about people like the men that may feel just it could be a woman as well, but what about I would say men, what about the man that feels that you both should not have separate accounts because they feel like that you have a plan B, like a strategy or you know,
Right.
a strategy exit or something like that. So they may think that if you have another account,
Yeah.
they're like not sure what you're going to do. Like, are you planning on leaving or, you know, what are you doing with the, you know, with the separate account? What are you doing with the money? So it shows like a person has a plan B. What do you think about that?
Well, that shows that he's not very trusting of his
Yeah.
wife.
And I think that it's not wrong if he doesn't like that. It's not wrong that he doesn't like that, but I think they both need to get an understanding. And, you know, they need to get some professional help and understanding why she feels the need to have this separate account because he needs to understand why
Yeah.
you know, he's thinking, oh,
Exactly.
because you're trying to leave me.
Right.
And women, first of all, are not thinking like that, you know, unless they're in some desperate, horrible situation, you know,
Right.
domestic violence situation, which that's a totally different conversation. Okay, you know, but I think he just needs to get that understanding why. Sometimes you need that mediator to break down the why, you know, the wife is thinking this way, or the husband, vice versa. If the husband is looking like,
Yeah, he shouldn't be worried if he's not giving her a reason.
Right,
Why are
exactly.
you worried? You know,
They
are you
do.
intimidated by it unless you know you've given her a reason to?
Well, I guess Steve, like if she may say she make 1,500, she's putting 1,000 in her account and 500 in a joint.
But look, it should
Here's
matter as long as the bills are paid for whatever they're using that joint account for, as long as everything is taken care of, it shouldn't matter what her check look like versus what she put in the account, as long as the bills are getting taken. I don't think it's anything wrong with having a separate account or a joint account because, like, my thing is like, there are some things that my husband spend his money on that I don't agree with. There are some things that I spend my money on that he don't agree with.
They don't agree with nothing serious.
Yeah, okay. So for us, a joint account just didn't work because it's like, okay, you got too many purses, and I'm like, you got too many hats. So it's like, so you know, so
when you think about it, purses are a lot more money than hats.
I don't know, girl. I don't know where they find hats from. And these shoes, and y'all know our shoes are cheap. Men's shoes are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
And he loves shoes, especially when he big foot.
Accessories, clothing, everything is expensive.
Yes,
Women, that's what they don't understand. They're thinking, you know, because they pay $200 whatever for a pair of shoes. We pay $200. We can get about 5 pair of shoes.
That part. Okay. I mean, because like when you put that money in a joint account, it becomes yours together. So when you spend that money, it's like, girl, you spent $100 on what? So you getting these phone calls. Oh boy, you didn't tell me. I told you had to call me before you. No, baby, let's just do separate accounts and let's pay these bills. That's what we're gonna do. So to keep down the confusion, you ain't got to question me about what I'm spending, and I'm not gonna question you. And we can be happy. We don't care as long as these bills are paid and everything is still flowing. We don't care about all that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is good. That's good.
Yeah.
So having the joint account is great. If you guys can't get
Yeah.
along with that, it's okay.
Yeah,
If
it's
you guys
good.
have that understanding, know that. But it takes some mature minds for that, serious K. Y'all are mature. You're of age, or
Yeah.
you're mature. It takes
Yeah.
a mature mind. You know that you got to take care of the household, and there are even couples that allow certain ones that's able to budget well and can handle money. Because let's be honest,
Yeah.
some of us cannot handle money well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the stronger spouse that's able to handle the budget, the money well, will be over mostly everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think in that case, that's where those separate accounts need to come, like that joint account where it's because he's stronger or she's stronger with the money. Okay,
Yeah.
so we put a lot of money into this account. But then little weakling, little weakling, the one that is not handling the household budget, you'd have their own little account where they can just splurge on whatever,
Yeah, you know
whatever.
what, and we just made it pretty easy. It's like he paid the mortgage and I paid the bills. Okay, now if it's something we
Oh,
want to
that's
come
great.
together on, like a big piece
Yes.
of furniture or something like that, we come together on stuff like that. We come
Yeah.
together on food or shopping for like toilet paper or what. It's just whoever at the store get it. It's
Yeah.
no, you do this and you do that. Like
Yeah.
big stuff, like I say, we come together on, but he already knows the mortgage, that's your responsibility. The bills, that's my responsibility. So we
Yeah.
just make it easy. And whatever's left over, that's your money.
That's right. That's right. I think whatever works for the
Yeah.
household, keep the peace and the unity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what, serious Queen A ain't saying much. Hello. She's
I think she taking notes for the future.
is that what? Because she's got
For
no
the
serious.
future.
We're gonna put on the spot. Queen A, tell us, give us.
It's time to end, y'all. We are 2 minutes
Look at
over.
you want to talk about.
No, I am. I'm learning a lot. I'm taking notes, and I am learning, and so it's good. It's all good.
Well, we're gonna continue this conversation a little later, serious K. I think we hit some buttons, but anyway, y'all, this has been a great, interesting and very
Yes.
an insightful show. I tell you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We will be taking a break, HMV fam. So whenever you guys tune in, if you listen to us during the week, be sure to catch us on on our podcast. It will be uploaded this week on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. When you're driving, working, wherever you're doing, you listen to the podcast. Be sure to tune in. Give us some comments. Comment on whatever. These were some serious topics tonight. All things heart, mind, and voice. So definitely some really good, interesting topics. Very insightful and enlightening topics tonight. And since it's the summer, we'll be taking summer breaks. There's a lot of transitions and things that are going on. And we know you guys are traveling as well and enjoying your summer with your family and friends. But we will be back next month. So tune in, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and see what date we'll be on, as well as our YouTube page, what date we'll be broadcasting. And until then, be safe and in love and in peace. We're out. Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.